Right now, more than ever, people are using AI to cut unethical corners. In fact, when I first started selling print on demand, yes, if I got a bestseller, many sellers would copy my design, but usually that would take a while. Versus I have noticed in 2026, the minute I have a design that starts making sales, it is copied by so many people across the internet in speeds I've never seen before. It's frustrating, it's unfair, and unfortunately, it is not going to stop. So for the rest of 2026, I am changing focus. And this is also what this video is about. When AI can scrape and copy designs in seconds, how do you build a business that can't be copied? While this sounds depressing, trying to fully shift your business, this is not something new and something e-commerce sellers or people just selling online have had to deal with forever. Things changing, policies changing, licensing changing, tools changing, and the winners are the ones who can keep up with those changes and pivot. And this crazy AI change is actually going to be good news for the right kind of seller. Because when everyone can create the same product, there are 5 things that you can do to actually build a long-lasting brand that is going to set you apart from the person who just uses AI to scrape and steal. And the first thing that you're going to do is build a recognizable brand and not just products. And for Etsy, I think a lot of the times this is skipped. People focus on creating product because that's how you are found on Etsy. Versus when you're shopping just online in general, people are looking for recognizable brands. So now I think it's time to actually start bringing in these tips into Etsy and your store itself and looking at your store as a brand again and not just the products. The brand is your story, your voice, the trust you've built with previous customers, the recognition that people have when they actually see your logo or your brand colors. And very generic POD stores that just focus on selling one product at a time, they're not worrying about repeat customers, they're not worrying about building up a brand. Those are the ones that are going to be quickly overrun when people are just using AI to copy all of their best sellers, which again is already happening. So the first step is making sure you're recognizable. So make sure you have a memorable, easy to read name and you have a very recognizable logo and brand colors, and make sure that's actually following your listings. So on your storefront, they're able to see what your branding is, and that branding is pulled through to all of your Etsy listing photos as well. So when people actually open up a listing from you, they're able to know it's from you and not just a generic seller. If your store is more niche down, make sure you're using a voice that fits your niche. Make sure you're highlighting benefits to your products that are actually going to appeal to the niche that you are trying to target. Differentiate yourself in your photos. If you are a single seller, you're a single person, let people know in a story card on your Etsy listings. If you make all of your designs handmade, you don't use AI, make sure that is advertised. Make sure when you're actually making sales, you're not just focused on getting one sale from that person, but you are hoping they're going to come back, they're going to love the experience from buying from you, they're going to remember you, and they're going to recommend you to friends, and they're going to come back and purchase from you again. I make sure in all my packages, I have a thank you card that has a discount code, and the card matches again all of my branding. It's very thankful, it's very personal from my name exactly, because I want people to know that this is from a person. It is a brand, a human behind this brand, and I've given them a discount code to either use themselves or to gift it to a friend. And then you want to make sure that you can stay in contact with them. And to do this, you're going to need to build up an exterior audience that you actually own. When you are selling on Etsy, you are renting an audience from Etsy. You do not own it. You can't just message these people out of the blue because they're not your customers. They are technically Etsy's customers. So I think now more than ever, and this is actually something I did not do on my Etsy store and something I'm implementing this year because of all of these changes. I have done this for Shopify, but I never really brought it on over to Etsy, but focusing on getting a customer from Etsy to be a member of my own audience, whether that be on social media, maybe a Facebook group, but especially on an email marketing list. And if you're just getting started with email marketing, I would highly recommend starting with OmniSend, which I'm going to link in the description below for you guys. It is one of the most powerful email marketing tools I have found, especially for the price compared to a lot of other existing email marketing platforms out there. And if you already do have an email marketing list, but you want to switch over to OmniSend, in as little as 5 days, they can bring over all of your flows, all of your campaigns, and you could be saving 35% more than what you're currently spending on your email marketing. On OmniSend, you can start building up your email marketing, because if you didn't know yet, on Etsy, you are not allowed to message your buyers. You are not allowed to actually just copy their email address and start messaging them. You have to get permission from people to actually be able to add them to your marketing list. So you need to have a way for them to actually consent to hearing from you. And that's by building a landing page in which people can submit their emails so that you can communicate with them. So under forms, you can create a form, you can create a landing page. And by creating a landing page, either using AI or using one of their form templates, you can create a way for someone to actually sign up. And you can link this by using a QR code in your Etsy photos. You can include the link in your message to buyers. You can include this in a link in your description. However, many ways you could possibly reach out to your customer to get them to sign up through your landing page. And to do this, you're going to want to give them an incentive to actually want to sign up. So that could be 25% off their first order, get a free gift with their order. Perhaps they can get a chance to win 10 free products, whatever you're able to offer to get somebody onto your email list. And it's actually going to be worth it. Then once you actually start building up your email list, you are now allowed to actually communicate with them because they've consented to hearing from you in exchange for that incentive you gave them. So now you can send welcome emails. You can send a discount code in a month to them that encourages them to come buy again. You can now send monthly campaigns, maybe offering a free flash sale or letting people know about new product drops. There's so much you can do to get someone interested, and they're going to forget about you a lot of times when they actually purchase from you. And an email list is a great way for you to keep top of mind for your customers over time. And if you would like a full video on email marketing, my strategy, my monthly strategy, which flows I have set up, email in the comments below and I'll know to make a full video tutorial on this. And something new as well, OmniSend now also hooks up to Claude and ChatGPT so that you can actually talk to Claude and ChatGPT right within their platforms to get recommendations, to see how your different campaigns are doing, to break down which ones have done the best so that you can get some top level insights right within AI for your campaigns. Another thing I am considering starting, and I have been for a while, I have just been pushing it off, but starting for both my Etsy and my Shopify store is actually creating a Facebook page around my niche and encouraging people to join. And I want to create a certain way to keep people engaged in this. So perhaps if you had a baking niche, getting people to come in and share their top baking recipes or top baking tips. And from there, you're able to actually build up a relationship with your favorite customers or the customers who actually care about your brand. And I've actually seen this do really well for existing Etsy sellers, especially in the digital download world, where they've actually created a Facebook page and they've let people know that they can get free downloads within this Facebook page. So it gives an incentive source for someone to join. So not only can they be reached on email, but they can also be reached on Facebook. And on Facebook, because people are joining with their profile, it gives a lot more of a personal feel to it. On social media, I run a monthly giveaway. So everyone who has tagged me in that month has a chance to win a free $50 gift card. And I advertise that on my email. I advertise that on my checkout. I advertise this on my Instagram as well, so that I'm encouraging many people to tag me. Then their friends see this and then they purchase from me. And now they also have a reason to follow me on social media so that I can post my new arrivals. I can post any sales that I'm running so these people can see me again across multiple different platforms. And I'm not just held to Etsy, and Etsy is not going to be reaching out to these people on my behalf. And what makes growing an audience much, much easier? Having a defined deep niche. Things like funny dog shirt, cat mom mug are very easy for people to think of right off the bat. They're the first thing that came to my mind, and AKA they're gonna be the first things that someone types into AI to create a design for. My Etsy store actually started as a very generic store where I tested tons of different niches, which I am still a fan of for a lot of people who don't know their niche yet. But once I actually started seeing which niches were working for me, which niche I was having the most fun designing in, which niche was actually the most personal to me. So I was able to create very specific designs that people outside of this niche couldn't really recreate. They could copy it, yes, but they couldn't create their own versions because they didn't understand the inside joke. And since then, I have really targeted both my Shopify and my Etsy to one very specific niche. And it's actually a very specific niche within a specific niche, but it has a big enough audience. And by doing that, I've encouraged people to come back and purchase from me. I've been able to build up an audience. I've been able to create a more kind of standard brand voice. I've been able to connect with my customers a lot because I can actually talk about this niche. And this has really helped me hone in on my brand and get people to actually trust and purchase from me versus over random generic stores that have tons of products in tons of different niches. It is very hard to build up a community, a Facebook group, an email list if you don't know who you're talking to, because people are going to get these emails and it's just going to seem generic. But again, because I have a very specific niche, I tell people about what I'm doing in that niche, what I thought was funny, memes that I found. And again, this can very much depend on which niche you're doing, but how you communicate with these people is how you are building a brand with them. And AI is not able to copy if it doesn't understand the nuanced jokes within a niche. The fourth tip I have for you is use AI as a weapon, because ironically, a lot of people who are using AI to steal are not using AI in a way that's actually going to help them build a long-lasting brand. They're using AI as a shortcut to create as many designs as possible to just cover the internet, versus people who are building the long-lasting brand are able to use AI to create mock-ups that are going to resonate with their niche. They're going to be able to create Instagram posts, reels, emails that speak to their niche. I use AI to do design and niche research for me automatically every single month. I use AI to take a look at my Facebook page and it gives me a report every single week on what I should be doing on my Facebook ads to actually make it better, which ads to turn off, which things to scale up. And that is a lot more helpful. And it still requires me thinking. It still requires my knowledge, but it's not just, oh, find the best sellers, copy them, and post them. Again, this is using it to create a long-lasting relationship with your customers and just using it to really hone in and speed up a lot of the things that you're already doing in brand building. The goal isn't to out-spam the spammers, but it's to outbuild them and outbuild that recognizable, trustable brand. This point we've kind of already touched on, but I'll quickly go over it again as a separate point. But compete on quality, customer experience, and trust. Cheap copycats are usually using deceptive selling tactics. They're usually using pretty low quality products as well, low quality designs because they just AI copied it and posted it to a shirt without actually checking the resolution. Often their mockups aren't that great if they didn't just steal the mockup from you, which they will also try to do. But again, they're focused on just getting that one sale from one person. They're not worried about building up that customer experience. And a lot of the times when you actually take a look at these stores that just steal a whole lot, they don't have the best reviews because again, they're not focused on the long term. And over time, more and more of internet buyers are going to become aware of this. Before, we used to really worry about if products came from China and they were going to be low quality, versus now, we're not really sure where these things are shipping from, but low quality is going to become a much bigger concern like it used to be. But now people are going to become a lot more aware of all the junk that is going to be available online, and the trust in buying online is going to go down. So people again are going to look for those brands that they trust, that they've purchased before and had a great experience with, that they've ordered and they've seen that the quality is there and that the seller cares. Copycats will always compete on price because it's the only thing they have going for them. People are going to learn that if you're buying a shirt for $7, it's probably going to not be great quality. I actually both on Etsy and Shopify sell for much higher than the average seller. It gives me better customers, it gives me better reviews, it gives me less price sensitive people and people who are looking for quality products. So don't compete on fighting these copycats to selling for a $1 profit margin. Raise your prices much higher than them. And finally, stay on top of innovation. Print on demand is adding a bunch of new products you can sell on, maybe offering hats, new types of shirts. There's always new niches and designs out there. When you are an actual seller, you're actually doing the research, you are actually caring about your brand, you are able to innovate and put spins on your designs or on your brand much faster than a person selling AI, because they're never going to be on top of trends. They're never going to be first to a best-selling selling design because they're not creating anything themselves. So you always win on innovation, and that's going to pay off so much in the long run. So I won't lie, even earlier in this year, I was feeling a little demotivated, finding so many of my bestsellers all over the internet selling for dollars. I found them on Amazon, all over Etsy, their own websites. I see them on Shein. I see them on Temu. But I've realized I need to not kind of fall into this victim mindset, but instead I need to pivot. And I think this is the way that this market is going. There's going to be a lot less trust in buying online and a big shift into trusting brands, which has already been a thing, but it's just become more important than ever. Let me know what your thoughts are about this in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next week.